Welcome to God's Way, YTVY. I'm Adolphina Shephard, and this is my co-host, Thomas Knights Templar.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our show.
We have a great show planned for you folks tonight. We're going to be talking about the rite of passage, and this is because we are collectively creating a new era. That's what you see about all this chaos and everything that's going around. It's because the old is ending and will be out with spring. Okay, and the new is coming forth. So you're witnessing the death pains and the
Of the Pisces era.
yeah, of the Pisces era, and the matrix is crumbling. I mean, I can feel that. I feel like it's actually splitting apart even. Have you been feeling that?
It's fraying at the edges, and it's imploding is what it's doing.
Yeah, it's imploding. I mean, I can feel this and, energetically. So, there's a bunch of things we need to talk about. Number one, it's key that we don't suffer the same fate as Atlantis, because we are in that same position now where they were, where the psychopaths of that day, what they did was they blew it up and it sank beneath the ocean with crystals. They had a big, powerful crystal weapon. Okay, so we are not going to allow that to happen.
Commonly known now as Santorini.
Santorini.
What's left of it. Oh, that's what they say anyway. I don't know. Somebody
Well,
said it's off of Bimini.
Yeah, I've heard that. Or Bahamas. I mean, there's...
Well, Edgar Casey said that. It's in Bimini.
Yeah, well, I've actually seen years ago of like
They have a
Grounds
road.
League.
They have a
Yeah.
road under there. These giant pavement things. They're like about 20 feet by about 20 feet that way, and they're one after another.
Yeah.
They call it the Bimini Road. So
Well,
I
it
don't
makes
know.
sense. They think they found it, if they've been looking for it for a long time. Well, you see, what this is, and we talked about it a little bit on the last show, but it's a 26,000 year cycle broken down into 2,000 years, okay? And so now we start anew. We have to lay the groundwork. And one of the things that's so important is how to do that. How are we going to do that? Well, I have 3 keys, and I'm sure Tommy is going to have some good input too, because he always comes up with practical, good solutions. But what I want to talk to you about is most important is, you see, the balancing of the male and female within us. And this is an inside job. And it's proven by science. We have 25 chromosomes. 12 of them are male, 12 are female. It's only one that determines whether you're male or female. If that's not proof, I don't know what is, that we have these aspects of ourselves in ourselves.
You either are or you're not.
Right.
There
So
you go.
either way you look at it, what it means is you have to merge those two. Now, have you ever read that book or heard of that book?
Which one?
Men are from Venus and women are from,
Mars.
Mars. Right.
You're going to make very strong women.
Oh, yeah, men are from Mars and women are from Venus,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it's about the differences between the sexes. But the whole point of it is that every man has a female side to him, and every female has a male side to him. And now it's coming to fruition where the energies are merged, and you're going to actually see men more sensitive and more caring, and women more assertive and more,
We need to do this because, you see, in eras past, the goddess reigned. That didn't end too well. Then in recent past, the patriarch, the males rule. That's not, hey, look how that's going. War upon war upon war.
There's a couple of wars between friends.
Yeah, so, I mean, I know you're joking, but
Yeah.
it's time for that stuff to end if we don't want to wind up at the bottom of the ocean like Atlantis. So, now this requires balance. This is the point when you merge the male and female within, which you can do as an energetic technique. And you can
Daily, in a regimen.
yeah,
If those of you that do yoga, and you get, yoga, listen to me, like I do yoga, those of you who do that and you get into that state, when you're very relaxed and everything else like that, that's the time to ask, because then you'll connect to the other side, and you'll be basically claiming the divine feminine and masculine in a balance in the yin-yang. Simple as that.
you can do it when you pray. There's just so many different ways up the same
You
mountain.
can do it in the shower.
Sure. Routinely I
It's
have...
clean fun.
Tommy. It's one of the keys for, as we're going through this process, it's not a one-time thing, it's a daily thing, until the balance becomes
It's a
even.
reinforcement of the thought. anything that you want to come to fruition is you have to have the thought first. It cannot circumvent somebody's free will, okay? It cannot hurt anybody, all right? And when you empower that thought, all right, daily, then you bring it into fruition. That's why a lot of times when you were in situations, you were afraid of something was going to be so harsh and this is going to happen. I'm worried about Monday. I got to go to my job. My boss is going to eat me alive and all this different stuff. You are perpetuating that to happen. That's called concentrated prayer, negative or positive. The universe doesn't know that. Gives you whatever you ask for.
That's true. That's right. So this is why it's key to do this every day. Now,
The right way.
The right way, that's right. And now, one of the things is that what this will do for us is we will rise into our true soul, which wants unity, okay, which wants balance, which wants harmony. I think every person, and peace, who doesn't want that?
You know, given the current situations and climates, you would think that that would be an impossibility, but it really isn't an impossibility. Once you remove those that would seek to divide us and cause chaos, all right? Once you remove the financing that perpetuates that situation, once you get down to an honest media that tells the truth,
Yeah.
something that they haven't done in 60 years, okay? So once you get that, and you get that aligned on track to work forward towards a more loving country, the way we were when 9/11 happened,
Right,
you know?
right, right.
So,
Well, one of the things, is that we have to learn to love ourselves. Like Jesus had said, love your neighbor as yourself. Well, doesn't that mean you have to love yourself first?
well,
And then you love your neighbor,
if
right?
you can't love yourself, how are you gonna love anybody else? That's the first thing. Everybody thinks, oh, I can love myself. No, don't love yourself. Love who you are. You're a child of God, created in His image. You are God. Jesus said this to His disciples. Didn't I tell you all that you are God, and far greater things that I have done, you shall do. Okay?
Right, right.
And if He's telling you that, you're getting it from the man who
Himself.
held the hand that took you across the water.
Right.
I mean, really, what does it take?
So, that's a key. So, basically, one of the things that has happened to mankind is when people say they want to be free, it is not freedom physically, okay? It's freedom from unconscious enslavement because
Oh, yeah.
our minds have been locked into these little boxes and small minds. And the first thing is you have to open your mind, but it's not your fault because
It's been drummed into your head.
it's been drummed into your head on planet and off planet. Okay, there have been waves that have sent that cause this frequency conditioning, and then you got the media, right? And
You got the media, you got the chemtrails that they've been doing. Chemtrails don't affect us. We have risen above that level and higher vibration than they can ever come at us with anything, including COVID. All right, so that's the first thing. The second thing, all right, is that rising above the vibration of this
mass
this
hysteria,
mass
fear.
hysteria that we have here.
Right, the mass
you know?
hysteria and the fear that they're perpetrating. And so we have to rise above this. How do you do that? I'm going to tell you how. Because
Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels
Jack
for
Daniels,
you.
yes, it works. You'll forget about it for a while.
Oh, Tommy, I was going to suggest meditation because when
Meditation after Jack Daniels?
maybe, but you probably fall asleep.
Well, there you go.
But the key is, in order for you to, God created us in His image, which means, we are nothing more than fractalized images of God.
We are pixels, like on the TV.
Yeah,
On the TV screen.
we're
We're
like-
little pixels.
Yeah, we're a cell
And
of
we
the
all
body
fit
of
together
God.
like this beautiful mosaic. We all fit together, nice little pieces.
Right.
The only problem is that it has been drummed out of our heads.
Right, and so, in order to find the divinity inside, you have to have silence. And I know that so many of you are challenged by full family lives, children running around, this and that, but you have to squeeze out 20 to 30 minutes in complete silence and go within and meet your maker. They're full of
yeah.
love.
You need what
Full of
you need
love.
what you call you time, you quality time for yourself.
Right.
You have to get away from it. You have to get away from the craziness, the phones ringing, Twitter or Facebook and all
Or
these other things, the
computer.
computers. Just get away from all of that, all right? And if you can control your usage of the computer and the usage of your children using computers, that would be the best thing for you because their minds are being subverted by all of this subliminal messaging and all these commercials. Have you ever noticed you're on your phone and you look up something that you need to know because you want to get this? And the next thing you know, you have 27 advertisements that come over your computer for the thing that you were talking about. I've had this happen when I was just talking.
Yeah.
Went on my phone, boom, and there's what I'm looking for.
Oh, I know.
So you
I
can't
know.
tell me they don't have technology to go through your phone and hear what you're saying.
Oh my God, yeah, well, wait a minute. This is known. I mean, the computers, the TVs, I've even read somewhere that even your refrigerator and your dishwasher has this kind of technology, you know, which is,
And you've been keeping it from me all this time.
well, you know,
I'm in the refrigerator all the time.
well, I'll tell you what, I
The
do
stove
know
doesn't like me though.
something has got to change, but the main thing is you got to open your mind and not stay in the box because, you know, we have been kept in this little box and people have not been able to
Because we're
think
people of
outside that
habit,
box.
because we're creatures of habit. If you get up in the morning, you take your shower, whatever you do it at night, you get up in the morning, have your coffee, you run out, you go get a train, you run into the city or wherever you got to go to work, you get in your car, you drive out to Long Island, whatever you're doing, that is part of a routine. A lot of people, and it's been proven, that a lot of people that are in these routines, the minute they retire, if they don't do something that keeps them in routine, they die.
Oh, yeah, it's proven in insurance because
Yeah.
I used to be in the insurance 2 years after people retire unless they develop something
What was the name of
outside
that
of work.
company? We cheat them and how? What was the name of that insurance company?
I'm not telling you.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, it's absolutely true. But here's the thing. If we're going into a new era, we need to evolve. Otherwise, I mean, what? I think this is mankind's 7th go-round where we finally at the point where we're ready to evolve and we do not want to suffer the same fate as Atlantis. So it's important, very important. And here's the thing, it's your responsibility. No one else's, yours. No one's going to do it for you, no book, no TV show, your responsibility.
You got as the lottery says, you got to be in it to win it.
That's true. And so, you know, we're going to try once again. We're going to do a bunch of things and help you break that box wide open because we cannot go through that again.
No.
You know, and everybody has to step up and do their part. So I'm saying, step up and do your part. You, yeah, that's you.
That's
Right?
That's right. It's a new day.
It is.
It's a new day.
We're going to be going through some birthing pains until, you know, by summer we're going to be midway across the bridge,
Yeah.
and we'll see where our future lies. So it's crucial right now to be conscious, to be aware of where your mind is. Are you in fear? Are you in bliss? Are you in love? You know, the key is to stay centered and balanced and in the light.
Listen, if you're about to put your head in the sand because you don't like to see what you're seeing going on, no matter which side of the fence you are on, okay, I hate you say politically, but whichever side of the fence you're on, you better understand that humanity comes first, okay?
Yes.
All right? The whims and the ideals of man are fallible. The ideals of God are not. 2,000 years ago, because his ideas were way advanced, okay, they put Jesus to death. And they're now trying to do the same thing, crucify someone without nails.
Yeah,
right?
all of us,
right.
not just one person.
That's right.
All of us. You must be aware
They're
of
trying to
this.
crucify you without nails. They're dividing brother against brother, the same conditions that caused the Civil War.
And
They're trying to divide
5G
us.
is
And
detrimental.
5G,
Detrimental.
Well, it's detrimental because they allowed the Chinese, and this was the other side, allowed the Chinese to come into this country and make all our technology.
You mean to tell me they don't have backdoor intel in those things? Were they
Absolutely.
insane? Who let that happen?
And for those of you that really think that this injection is going to cure you or something or help you with something, people are dying around the world. from that injection. But they're not telling you that. Why? Because your media is keeping it covered.
I just had something on where I was waiting for
Yes.
you. A thing came up on my phone. It said 24 dead in Norway today
Norway.
from the shot.
It was a doctor
And the doctor in Florida.
in
Wait a
Florida.
minute.
And he was just one. They're just hiding this stuff. They're not telling you.
I actually read that there were something a couple of weeks ago, like 3,200 people who have crossed from it and did not have use of their limbs. Now, I know some people get that it's good, and I do believe it will be sanitized and corrected, but I don't think it is right now.
It won't be corrected until the ingredients in there do not include heavy metals, do not include RNA changing factors, do not include nanotechnology, okay, which is a tracking device, all right, and does not include, what you call it, the one from the babies, the cells, the fetal cells.
Stem cells?
Stem cells. It cannot contain that. That is not science. That's voodoo science.
All that stuff in there, it's, I would never.
All right.
Well, I don't believe in them anyway, the vaccines, but this one really gives me the squeamish.
I have no faith in this thing. And I think that anybody who took it, I understand that you may be a frontline worker, whatever it is, and you took it, but you don't know the long-term ramifications. You don't know if this injection is going to even sterilize you.
Well, I know they did that in Africa, that
Yes.
Bill Gates sterilized the people over there when he gave them, what was that vaccine called?
It was a vaccine for SARS. And this
Yeah.
is what this is. This is a designer version of that.
Yeah, see, I mean, this is baloney.
Anything that comes from rich white billionaires, you better run for the hills.
Yeah, especially, you know, I don't know if any of you know this, I'm just going to point this out. I actually read an article in a very legitimate magazine that talked about how Black Lives Matter. Now, you know, I have black friends. It's nothing against, I'm not prejudiced at all. However, you know who that money went to? The Democratic
Party, yeah.
I mean, you're sending it to fat, rich, white old men to
That's
do
right.
nefarious
That's right.
deeds.
That's right.
So, you know, you better
And
rethink
and
that.
that's what they do. They
Yeah.
control the masses by throwing them trinkets.
Yeah.
You know what? And it's still, when you think about it, they're not only enslaving them, but they're enslaving our young too.
Well, I saw that they set up campuses for the injection at the colleges. I mean, you know, come on.
Because those are the next generation of Kool-Aid drinkers.
I know. That's
Okay.
what I'm saying. Yes. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they.
This is a generation of no common sense. Zero common sense. Okay? Example. The Second Amendment right. Owning a gun. Own a gun, in a case, go to the range, bang, 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 come home, put it away, clean it, and that's it. Okay?
Yeah.
Their example. Take a gun, rob a store. Because they're taught that there's no consequence for anything they do. And there isn't. It's like having that little card from Monopoly, get out of jail free. They get arrested for the most heinous crimes. Because there's no courts going on right now, they're home. They get out and go out and do it again. And do it again.
Something's
and do
wrong
it
with
again.
this
There's something
picture.
very wrong when you
Something's
have
wrong with
when
that
you have the
picture.
heads of the state that think that that's okay.
Yeah, that's
and
not
the city
okay.
council that is so far left, they're gonna fall off the planet.
Yeah, that's not okay.
That
You
is not
know,
okay.
That's not okay. Not in a civilized country.
Who are you gonna call? The mayor when somebody robs your house or shoots you? Big Bird has cops all over him.
Well, you know, we were talking about getting in touch with the divinity inside.
Yes.
And, you know, one of the things that's important for you to understand, see, prayer is when you pray to God. This is not prayer. This is when you're listening to God.
Listening.
And in the silence, you may not hear a voice, but you will get the knowing. You'll get the intel. You will know, and you will feel that love. I remember when I first started feeling it, I remember for days I was weepy, and my girlfriend said, why? Why are you crying? I said,
Because you've been convicted. God convicted your soul and let you see the error of your ways.
no, that's not why. The why was because I've never felt
You never
such
felt that love. But see,
we
that's
think
his-
we know love.
No, but that's his forgiveness.
Oh my God, you think you know
You know?
love. It is so amazingly blissful. And it just made me cry because I've never felt that kind of love. And I've had love from people before, but The God love is completely different. I
Of course
mean,
it is.
oh my
It-
God.
It's love on steroids. You know,
Big steroids.
well, yes, yes.
And who wouldn't want that? And this is the key to our evolution.
You just said the arguing point. Who wouldn't want that?
Who wouldn't want
Who
that?
wouldn't want that are those that are subverting the minds of our young. They're using our young against us.
Yeah,
okay?
but yes.
We are the generation they want to kill off.
I know.
Because we are the common sense generation.
Right.
The ones that grew up with right and wrong, boy or girl or whatever. Okay? And now you see so much stuff on TV, they're desensitizing our children that this is okay and that's okay. Don't tell them what they are until they're 6 or 7 years old. Really? What should you do? Dress them up in burlap clothes and not let them know what they are?
Come on.
You know,
Come
come on.
on,
right?
come
and then
on,
I,
that's
and then
ridiculous.
and then the latest thing I heard was that in Washington State,
Uh-huh.
all right, the state that had all the burnings and everything
Yeah.
else like that, that they turned around and they legalized pedophilia. Imagine
Oh,
that.
come on.
Well, it's Washington.
Oh, my God.
All right.
Okay, we
Legalized
strike that
pedophilia.
down right now. That is
That's it.
wrong. That is
And then what they call
wrong.
it?
That is
They
wrong.
call it a lifestyle.
A
Lifestyle.
lifestyle, raping children.
Touch my grandchildren, I sever your head.
Right.
Touch my grandchildren, I sever your head.
You know what that is? That is demonic. That is demonic, and that is Satanism. And if you don't see that, you are the problem.
That's it. That's it.
I am astounded by what you just told me. That is
How
so
do you think I felt? You know me.
blatantly satanic.
That's satanic. It is. That is.
That's wrong, people. That has to be overturned now. And it is overturned. And we say it is.
Let's
And
put our
so it
swords together.
is.
We got our swords together, and we burn out every single person that would sign on for that. We burn them out and speak them out of existence and the influences that came to them to do this. This is an abomination against God,
It is.
and you will be punished. You
Oh,
will be punished.
You will burn to ashes, honey, because I have
Okay.
seen it
And when you
already.
scream and cry for forgiveness, there'll be deaf ears.
Oh, you'll be
So
gone
it
in a
is.
second.
And so
You'll
it
be
is,
gone in
and so it
2
is.
seconds. And so it is. It is the truth. Oh, my God. I am just still.
I'm astounded by that.
I am astounded by that. Who in their right mind would make something like that legal?
Well, you got New York here, okay?
Yeah.
And you got California, you got Washington, Oregon, okay? You got Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay? That's what you have.
Yeah.
Because these are the only two places in this country that allow the most heinous thing to come to fruition. Okay? That's what's happening. We got the OK Corral outside in the streets. People are shooting people indiscriminately, getting away with it. Killing people in the city. People homeless, sleeping everywhere there is. Where is the law and order? They
Well-
can't do anything. They're told to stand down. And then I had this one who's the Attorney General of New York, okay, comes out and says they're going to do something to the police again. I forgot what it was about. All right, relook at everything. Really? Why don't you relook at the groups that came here and started the fights and started the trouble, started the burnings and the looting and everything else? Why don't you look at who they are
Well, yeah. Now, think about this.
and who put them up to it?
I get the paper on the weekends, and I saw that they had everything taped from the Capitol thing that happened. What about they've been taping? They have to have been taping and have
They had
these
their security
people.
guy take the fence down and waving them all in because it was already planned.
Right, I know. But what about all these crimes that are happening? Why aren't they tackling that?
They won't tackle that.
Why are
Why
they
not?
wasting taxpayers' dollars on impeaching someone who's supposed to be out of office in a
In
week?
4 days.
Yeah, I
In
mean,
4
come
days,
on.
really. That 80-year-old hag.
Hey, that is what occupies our
Mm-hmm.
politicians instead of straightening out
Well,
the
the
economy.
beauty of it is you take the two of them, all right, because not to have age discrimination, but what do they have in common with these college kids? What do they have in common? Just say the key word, free, and they come running, they'll do anything you want them to do. They become your minions, all right? And they're being led by a half senile person, okay, and a hateful woman.
Hey, tell you something. I looked at a picture in the paper today, and I looked at those eyes, and I said, that is not a human
That's a reptilian.
man.
That's a reptilian.
That is not a human
Nope.
man.
Nope.
You know, and, you know, anyway. So, but that, I'm just still reeling from what you told me about Washington. I'm beyond myself with that.
Yeah, well.
Oh, come on.
Well,
That,
coming to a theater near you.
well, you know
it-
what? God will not, God has this whole thing in hands. Instead of human judgment and trusting humans to straighten these things out, we have got to make sure we call on God and ask for his help and her help. Her, remember, it's male, female.
That's right.
That we have to allow that, because he doesn't make mistakes, and now she is stepping up to the plate and saying, no more, no more. I've had enough. Okay?
He didn't create this world so it could come to this. God didn't create divisions. Mankind did. From the beginning of time, mankind created the divisions. All right? And it hasn't served us at all. Hasn't served us at all. Because the one thing we did is that we moved away from what God wanted us to be. The prime directive, love others as God loves you. Okay? Out of all the commandments, and there's a lot of ones that are probably more powerful than that one, this one right now and this time reigns supreme. Because if you don't love your brother, and your brother's your fellow man, and your fellow woman, if you don't love them, okay, this is never going to work. All right? God is going to intervene. There's no two ways about it. Okay? And those of you that want to be on that debaucherous side of the fence, I hope you have your asbestos underwear.
Oh, listen, that won't help a bit, because like I told you, I have seen it. And there will be no mercy shown to anyone who tampers with the blood or anything with children or pedophilia or
60
sacrifice, or any of that.
60 million aborted fetuses in this country alone. 60 million since the inception of Roe versus Wade. Okay, 60 million babies, 60 million souls. You think that didn't get the attention of God? It sure did.
Well, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about
That's
the
the one you should be talking,
Satanists.
because that's why he's coming back.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's now the pure ones are coming back. The pure ones are coming back to help lead the way out of this mess. We're going into the new era, and it's imperative that you look at yourself. See, if you were standing in somebody else's shoes and looking at yourself, is there something you don't like? Fix it. Fix it. Go within. Meet God.
You can't fix anybody else
time
unless you
there.
can fix yourself.
Yeah, you have to fix yourself
You
first.
have to fix yourself. It's the way you look at everybody. You know, it's the way you look at everybody. The way like look down your nose at people.
Oh yeah, judgment.
Somebody who has say a large stature, financially and everything else, big home and all this stuff. Don't look down your nose at somebody who don't have that. Okay? We could be a much better society if you would help that lesser person, in your view, okay, become something more.
Well,
That's godly.
It actually says in the Bible that it's easier for a camel to pass through the needle
of
the eye to get to the other side than a rich man, okay? Because the rich men, how'd they get there? Most of them got there through greed, steal, and robbery. Not that there aren't honest businessmen. I know there are some. But the ones who are super billionaires, I don't trust that.
Because look, they listen. You go on these sites and things like that online, and because they're of one affiliation of another, they cut down your Second Amendment right, your right to talk about issues, no matter what side of the fence you're on.
Yeah, what about this
censoring? In college, the same thing. In college, the censoring that goes on. If you go in there with conservative, you've been raised in a conservative household or Republican household, and you go to college and you write a paper, and the professor doesn't like it, okay? Even though you presented the facts, even though you had an opposing view, and he's supposed to look at it and accept that, because that's your viewpoint, you cannot be wrong, okay, unless your facts are wrong, all right? He'll fail you. All right, and that's what's happening here.
Heck, look what's happening
here?
with censorship of Facebook, Twitter, all the accounts. They have licenses. These licenses should be pulled
They
and
should be
then taken
revoked.
off the air.
But they won't be because they own the airways. They own
Well-
every damn thing. That Bezos guy, he took off Parler, which is a conservative thing. He took it down because it uses his towers.
Well, you know what? I think that they should be shut down in alternative news. I mean,
Listen, the way you
brought
get
up.
these people is you make rich people poor.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
That's true.
how you do it.
That's true.
We are 75 million strong,
Yeah.
and probably a lot more. All right? If that 75 million stop using that way, stop using their phones, stop funding these corporations that fund debauchery, okay? Stop using their products, start to go with anything that doesn't come from China, okay? When you start to clean house like that, they feel it in the pocketbook,
Yeah.
okay? They feel it in the pocketbook.
Well, when the crimes against humanity comes out, their money's going to be gone. Because, I mean, if they got it by war crimes, which is like chemtrails,
Treason.
poisoning people, and things like that, I know their money will be taken and they'll go to jail. And so then their money can be used for the good of all.
With all the money they spent paying all these splinter groups to act up and come out and do all
Yeah.
these things, and paying these college kids that don't have any jobs to go out there and burn things down and get arrested and shoot people and all this different stuff. They don't say about how many people during this summer of rioting, okay, died at the hands of these groups.
Oh, I know.
But yet, the thing in Washington, which was their own people
Yeah.
that went and did that,
Yeah.
okay? Oh, he incited a riot.
Ah.
We need the National Guard. Take the National Guard, stick it in your, and listen, I was in the armed forces, I have a right to say it.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, it's all going to come out in the wash. I know it will, one way or another, because number one, God's in charge, and he's had enough. Number two, the people are waking up. They're starting to see truth, and they don't believe, at least most, well, maybe not most, but at least half don't believe, and the other half are starting to wake up. And so, I mean, come on, we have to just set things right. And so things are going to be just fine, but you have to work on yourself.
Listen, you become a better you today, and be a better you tomorrow, and be a better you the day after that, and keep on improving. Pay it forward, all right? Be the best you can be. Then you'll be moving towards the ascension process and going towards God, going towards the light. Going to darkness is moving away from God. Going to the light is going to God, all right? It's a simple choice. It's a simple choice.
It is.
I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that if you go to God, you work towards God, you're going towards the light,
The good.
okay?
Yeah.
This shadow government that's running the show right now, okay? And it is in shadow, and it is a cabal, and it is all these billionaires and everything else in consortium to destroy this world. World domination by making the population of this earth from 8 billion people down to about 500,000.
And
That's their
stupid.
goal.
Yeah, and making you
So they have
stupid.
automatons.
Yeah.
That's what they want. Okay?
So wake up and smell the coffee, people. But, it entails you being aware.
You have no idea the prophetic stuff that I get that comes to me. Okay? And half the time I think, God, don't let me see this. I don't want to see this. Don't let me see this. But he always says the same thing, that the power to change the outcome is in our hands.
It's in our hands. So
Okay.
we are the ones who have to stand up, you see?
You know?
And stop buying the lies in the bull.
Yeah, stop listening to, stop going, watching the news every night. You never hear nothing good. Nothing good happens in the world. Come on. There's no good stories that happen in the world.
Oh, I know.
Are you kidding me?
Well, they want to keep the hysteria going.
Because
and
people
the
are
fear
junkies for
going.
bad news. They can't wait for the next horrible thing.
I know, and because they're hooked on it now. They're hooked on it, I mean, I think they'd find so much more peace if they shut the TV
My
off.
wife was telling me about a story she read on The Onion, that the Soviet Union offered the United States 30,000 troops to come here for peacekeeping. What the hell's the matter with our army?
Right.
We need them?
Right.
This is what they want. They're going to come in here without firing a shot and take over. That's what they want.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. We have our own armies, and we're a country full of veterans, which is why they treat our veterans like crap, because they've been trained.
They want to kill them off because they are highly trained individuals. You could have a 75-year-old soldier, okay, and I'll put him up against any one of those other organized groups that are out there protesting. All right?
Wow. Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, it's something how when we start talking, we just get really a little annoyed. But we got to maintain our vibe. We got to maintain our center, just like we're telling you to.
We're telling you, listen, we don't want to make you hate, but we want to use your own, cognizance of right and wrong. Right or wrong. If somebody drives down the block and takes their car and runs over your kid, okay? He's wrong, and you're right, because he ran over your kid, all right? But by the same token, burning down, pulling down statues, killing people, shooting a baby in the head in front of his parents, and you're going to say, oh, they were having a block party. Yeah, right. A block party? That idiot mayor out there in Seattle should be hung up by a tree.
Oh, my God, I didn't hear about that. Boy, I'll tell you, I'm glad
They're having
I
a
don't-
block party. They made an autonomous zone. But yet when the restaurateur here on Staten Island made an autonomous zone outside of his restaurant, he was arrested.
Terrible.
He was arrested, and not by the regular police, because I don't think they would have did it. It was the sheriff. Who runs the sheriff? The governor. The guy who exonerates himself in his book from all the nursing home scandal, okay, exonerates himself.
None of this is legal. There isn't a legal
They are
leg to stand
infringing
on.
on your civil rights, your rights under the Constitution of the United States. We should not be on lockdown. There is no pandemic. All right? You measure how many people around the world have died. You had 8 billion population. If you even had 500,000, that's still not 1%. Or maybe it is.
Well, it's normal. I mean,
That's
in a
normal
given
death rate from
year,
the flu.
right? It's a normal.
But
No,
they used the catchword because they wanted to dethrone the president. The president.
no.
That's what it was.
It's 12.99%. 2019 people died from the flu, and this is like less than 3%.
Is that only here?
From 2019 in the United States, yeah.
Okay.
And so, that's normal. Death rates was 12.99 from the flu, and with the COVID, it's like 3%. Now, I'm not saying anybody wants to catch it, but I mean, the point being is that basically, how far are you going to let them bend you over? Okay? How far?
Mm-hmm. You think you get a pat down from the police? Well, you're getting a royal one now.
Yeah, I mean, what's going to happen when people don't have any money, any food, etc. And how long will the government be able to pay? And then they'll say they don't have any money, so then they'll offer you a paycheck every week so that your sole dependence is on them. I mean, come on, think about these
That's
things.
communism. You're so dependent on the government. Okay? This president tried to shrink government so you would have more of a say. Okay? And what did they do instead?
Well,
They
didn't.
attacked him from day one.
Yeah, because they knew it was the
Because they
end
knew
of
he was
that
going. It was
world.
a new of their payoffs from China.
Yeah, right.
They're talking so much. Oh, our Mexican Americans, they should be allowed to stay in this country. This, that. Yeah, they should. I'll say no. I have no problem with the Mexican people. I love them. Okay? You want to find real illegals? Why don't you go into the Chinese communities? Days where you find the illegals. Okay? Why don't you try that? But they would never do that. Why? Here you go.
Well, all the countries have a number of people they allow in.
Mm-hmm.
The United States seems to be the only one who hasn't put a number on it. We can't have a break our country. We need to put a number on it, like all the other
You're
countries
trying
did.
to break the balance, right? The country was 51% Caucasian and 49% everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now it's the other way around. So now they want to flood it so that the minority can no longer ever say anything against the majority. But when it was the other way around, oh, we got to do this, we got to speak out, we got to do this and that. Okay?
No, there's more insidious reasons than that.
Of
my
course
dear.
there is.
Insidious reasons in that letting people come in, terrorists sneak in with the immigrants.
Listen,
and
all these
stuff like
countries from
that.
South America are sending us their criminals,
Right, they're
along with the
sending
regular people.
criminals. Right, right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Why? Because it's easier to make a buck here.
And gets them out of their country.
Well, down in their country, you know, they might steal something, maybe get their arms cut off. you know?
Right.
Over here, what happens? They go to jail. They get out. They get 3 squares.
Yeah, they get more food
benefits.
than they do in jail here than they did at their home
In
country.
their home countries. I mean, really.
Well, oh boy, we could go off on a riff like this forever, but we
We got to pull it back. The bottom line is this: if this country and you people out there, okay, everybody in this country, don't come back to God and don't come back to love. Don't take God out of your life. Put him in it. All right? Put him back into school. Put him back into school. Put him back in the courts. Put him everywhere. Okay? And when you come into this country, you assimilate to the language, okay, and to the laws. Don't bring your stuff from some other country and think that it's going to work here. It's not.
and try to change what we
Okay.
have going for us here. That's why you came here, because you like it here.
That's right.
Don't try to
you came
change
here for
it.
religious freedom and all this other stuff. Earn it. Our ancestors did, and it's time that you guys man up and earn it. I don't care if somebody comes from another country and becomes a millionaire in this country. Worked hard and got it. Bravo. I'm all behind him 100%. God bless him. Okay? But don't come here saying that I got to give it to you. Okay? I don't
No,
have to
not
do
when
it.
our own people can't get
That's
it.
right.
And
You try to go get benefits in your Caucasian, see what happens.
oh, I know.
See what happens.
Well, let's go back a little bit and talk about the unconscious enslavement, because, see, we've been taught that the logical mind is the key, but the rational mind is a tool of the gift of the intuitive mind, and people have forgotten that. You know what?
You're going to have to explain that because they're not going to get it.
Okay.
You're gonna have to
Well, it
explain
means that you see that the intuitiveness is a gift from God, okay? And yet the rational mind is the computer version that feeds it the information. But now people value just the rational mind. And, they're conditioned to think that there's only the 5 senses.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? There's so much more. There are realms and universes and galaxies beyond what we have here on Earth. Don't you want to explore that? Don't you want to evolve to be a galactic citizen? Because we've been, because of the fact that we're such Neanderthals from their point of view.
Warlike.
Yeah.
Warlike. We are warlike Neanderthals. That's
Which
right.
is why we've been in a prison planet, because they don't want to let Neanderthals into their space. I mean, how do you like that? All the other beings consider Earthlings Neanderthals.
See, it's galactic. It's galactic discrimination. That's what it is. Shame on you guys. Yeah.
Well, that's a good point. But you know what? No, we got to earn it. Like you said, we have to earn it. And they will follow the rule of one, which is basically treat others how you would like to be treated. And that's God's law, basically,
Well,
in
yes,
essence, right?
Yes. Listen, God sacrificed the one for the good of the many. And now the many are sacrificing God. That is wrong on every level there is.
Well, that's because they're demonic, and they're
Well,
saying
I know they're demonic,
satanic,
but the whole
and
thing
people
is that
don't understand
there are
this.
people on the fence. I had a lady. She's an elderly lady. She says to me, she hates the president. So I said, "Why do you hate the president?"
Yeah.
She goes, "Because he's a liar." I said, "Show me a politician that isn't."
They're all liars.
I said, "Show me a politician that isn't." All right. There ain't one honest one in the bunch.
I don't think so. They
On either
all
side of the
play the
aisle.
game. They all play the game.
Listen, nobody, and I've said this before, nobody should be in Congress, nobody should be in the Senate for more than 2 terms. If the president gets 2 terms, that's all they get. And once you do that, you can't run for anything else.
Yeah, and
You're done.
You want to fix
And you get the same benefits you
There
want to
you go.
shove down our throats.
That's
all
right. That's right.
You get the
because-
same benefits. You don't get nothing better. Anybody who goes into Congress and in 2 years, 3 years is a millionaire, okay? It should be investigated.
That's
It
right.
should be investigated, okay? The Speaker of the House, $179 million. $179 million. Jeez.
Who bribed them?
$23,000 refrigerator stocked with ice cream.
Yeah, who bribed them
You know what that
so
sounds
many
like,
times?
Mary Antoinette? Let them eat. Let the peasants eat cake.
Right.
You
Did
know,
we vote them
please.
kings and queens above us? No. This is the thing. You want to fix Medicare and Social Security? Put them
Put
on
them
it,
on
too.
it. You'll see. You'll have carte blanche. You'll have the greatest health care in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Not what they got.
Well,
How do you think they're 80 and they look like they're 25? Okay.
Well, Tommy, you know what? What we got to focus on, though, what I want to focus on, if the people aren't aware of this by now, because every show we've been talking about these things to awaken them to truth. What we got to focus on is not blowing our shot and not destroying ourselves
No,
like
that's it.
Atlantis did.
Listen,
We're at that point.
You got a window. You got a
Right.
window and it's this big. And if you think it's any bigger than that, this is it. You let it go by, guess what? You chose wrong.
That's right. And it's your responsibility, each and every one of you.
That's right.
Nobody can do it for you. And you know what? I realized one day, you know why they took it In God We Trust off the courthouse? Because it's filled with lawyers and politicians and judges. All liars.
All lies, yeah.
Right?
There you go.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I would never even date a lawyer. Or, because, you get into trouble there. You do. Because they know all the ins and outs, and when you break up, they
That's
screw
right.
you royally,
That's right.
I've heard too many cases of that,
Yeah.
but...
I'm telling you right now, it's got to change. It's got to change from the top up. If you take the snake and you cut off the head, it dies.
Well, let's cut off the head of the
You
snake.
got to cut off the head of the snake, and the head of the snake is your satanic brothers out there that are causing all this chaos around the world.
See, this is what people don't understand. They don't understand that this is actually between the dark and the light,
It's a
not
good-
the
it's good-
Democrats and the Republicans.
No, it has nothing to do with the political parties. You guys think that you're in charge of nothing, all right? You know who's in charge of everything? The shadow government. They're in charge of everything. They don't care who's in office. They call the shots, all right? They call the shots.
Well, you know what, though? I know God's had enough because he told me so. And, he's going to be taking charge, and people that are on the wrong side of the fence, oh, you're going to be sorry. That's what I have to say.
That's
You
right.
know.
That's right.
So, and you
That's
know
right.
what? They're,
I was listening to a video, a lot of prophetic videos during the time of the prior to the election. A lot of prophetic videos that proclaimed Trump's going to win, this, that, the other, and everything else. He actually did win. Came true. He won.
oh, I'm sure he did.
But
Yeah. Manipulation of the
manipulation
electoral vote
of
and this
all
and that.
these entities
Yeah.
against him. You know how many billions of dollars that could have got rid of every disease that ever came to mankind?
That they
could have
spent.
got rid of all the poor, that could have set everybody up in a lifestyle that lives very, very well, okay, around the world. That's the money that's been spent here just to dethrone one man. It's crucifixion without nails.
You're absolutely right. And that's because he was sent in, I believe, to break the wheel.
Yeah.
Because God was tired of what he was seeing. And so because they knew this, because remember, these people have been involved, and you may not know about it, but there has been let me say if I'm getting it right, a secret space program for many years. Okay, that's why a hammer in the government might cost you $100 because the rest of it goes to funnel that stuff. And believe you me, that they have the technology that they can see into the future, see who is going to win, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. And then that's what that essence of that movie, The Terminator, was about, that they
Yeah.
come back to get you before you reach that part. You see?
Well, that's the truth.
So, these are the things that you have to be aware of. And you might think we're blowing smoke, but we're not. We're not. And there are many, many, many clairvoyants who have seen these things as well.
That's right.
And it helps because we And you can too, because everybody is born with the gifts. It's a matter of honing it.
They've tried to retard your ability to use your God-given ability. It comes from your pineal gland in your brain, okay? And they have done things since the 50s when they started this process to get to where we are now, okay? Fluoridating the water.
Isn't that
Fluoride is
yeah.
rat poison.
That's what I was going to say. It's rat
Okay,
poison.
it is rat poison. Guess what? Look how smiling my teeth are. You idiot. I mean, really, it's rat poison.
So every time you're drinking water with the fluoride in it, you're poisoning yourself.
I mean, really. And how about all these drugs on TV? Okay? Don't take duplicity or whatever it is, right? If you're allergic to it. How do you know? How do you know you're allergic to it? How do you know what's in it? It comes from China. How do you know? All right? How do you know? You don't. I will tell you this much. Okay? I make it a habit of doing it. Sis does it. Bless everything that you ingest. Bless the air that you breathe. Bless the people around you. Okay? Bless everything, your medications, that they work and only do specifically what they're told to you that they're supposed to do. And not harm your body anywhere else. Because what's the point of taking something for your heart if it kills your kidney?
Oh, good point.
What's the point?
That's a good point.
Okay? What's the point of doing that? Bless that medication because you're blessing it with God's energy. Bless it before you take it. Okay? For those who use the cigarette smokers, bless that cigarette. That tobacco will do no harm to you anywhere in your body.
Let's hope
Bless
not.
it. Bless it. Make it holy smoke. Bless it. Do not go and smoke. Ah, yeah, there's nobody talking. Then you have cancer, and then you come and see me because you want a healing. All right? Wake up.
God. Holy
Wake up.
smoke.
Somebody's got you by the nose, and they're kicking you right in the tail. Wake up.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's kind of a crude saying, but how far are you going to bend over and not look at the truth?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, people, wake up.
There was an old saying like that, looking over like that in the pathologist's office.
Yeah.
He says, it's one thing if one hand is on your shoulder, but if the other one's on it, get out of there.
Well, the main thing is I know sometimes we get a little riled up. Like, I know it riled me up to hear what Tommy said about Washington with the pedophilia. I mean, come on. But you know what? In the meantime...
You know how many people are moving out of California? Do you know how many people are moving out of California because nobody pays taxes there? The major corporations that are in Silicon Valley are paying for every damn thing, okay? And some corporations, there's no taxes being collected because everybody works off the books.
Because they're immigrants?
They're tanking over there. They're tanking,
Well,
okay?
you know...
New York is destined to be the next Detroit. Destined to be it. I said that 10 years ago. 10 years ago, and I have it documented, that New York will turn into another Detroit
Well,
unless we
let's
start to
change this,
turn
though.
that around.
We got to turn all of it around because we're starting the new era. This
What we
is
have to do here, sis, you and I, we're going to reverse all the negativity and all this chaos and debauchery that has come out of years of allowing this. These are the 63 threads that were doing the protests for Vietnam. This is their children, indoctrinated by them into Marxism. Okay? This is what you have. This is what you have. The chickens have definitely come home to roost. And you're seeing it. And for all you good people that know that this is all wrong, but stay in the shadows and keep your mouth closed, and just watch that TV and get frightened to death, stop watching the TV. That's what they want you to do. That's how they control you. Through subliminal messages. I'm a hypnotist. I can tell you that's what they do. That's what they do. They've been doing it since the 50s. Wake up. Okay? And stop being such a pawn.
I can think of other words.
So can I.
Well, once again, we see these things and we try to wake you all up to it. It's not that we're trying to be harsh. We're just trying to make you see and understand some things that maybe you don't really understand because you bought the party lines.
That's what the problem is. They bought the party lines.
They bought the party
When
lines.
I see people our age, and, I had this conversation with the person. I said, listen, we're never going to agree on politics. If you're going to tell me that this is good, all right, a person with 47 years and done nothing. A man who has been proven as a racist. They have him on video saying all sorts of racist. Didn't want segregated schools. Didn't want any of that. All right? Kamala Harris took him to task during the debates with all the touchy-feely stuff he did. Okay? Listen, he's running me. It's okay. The sins go away. The sins go away. No, shame on you. For shame on you. Because that will never change. Lion. A leopard don't change their spots.
Well, let's just hope that people's minds open. They realize what we're saying. They change their tunes. They start to get back in touch with God, because we are all an aspect of God, and that's
right.
who created us.
Made in His image.
And if we don't want to experience Atlantis, come on, babies, you got to start going inside. You got to start meditating.
This will be worse than Atlantis, all right? Because that 40-day flood, that's going to be like a muddy puddle compared to what He's going to do. Okay? He cleans house. I don't care, because I know me, my family are sanctified. We're all going. Okay? I can't say the same for you.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? I mean, really, that's the truth. We know that we are saved, that we are sanctified, and we're not doing this or talking to you about these things for ourselves. It's for your benefit. So we want to just remind you, as the show is coming to an end, to hold the center, lose the fear, rise above it, connect with your divinity within.
That's right. Don't believe everything that you read. I mean, I saw an article the other day, and I just took the newspaper, ripped it in half, and I told my wife, I said, cancel the subscription. It was so way off the chart.
Just try to stay
Way off the
centered. Think of what really matters in your life. Pay attention to that. I got a good idea. Picture forming your own little bubble around your immediate world and focusing on that, and disconnecting from the chaos.
Tell yourself, in your world, none of this exists.
Yeah, that
Just
peace,
keep on
love,
telling
and
yourself,
harmony
because
is
if you
it.
keep on telling yourself, it becomes your mantra. Okay?
Yeah.
Make sure you do that. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
All right? It's a kumbaya moment. Music maestro. You almost beat me to it.